They think he's a prat, and they've been looking for background dirt in order to rubbish him. They are the massed ranks of Trade Department officials, at the behest, it's suggested, of the Trade Minister, Richard Cabourn. He is the Channel 4 satirist Mark Thomas. The DTI has denied that the minister had either known of the email or requested such information. But the incident does reveal the power of the Data Protection Act, which allowed Thomas to request the department for any files they'd kept on him. Our business correspondent Jonathan Rugman examines how the Act can cast light into the darkest corners of Whitehall.
Under this law, if any company, any organisations, any agencies, any corporations have information about you, personal data, you can write for it.
Mark Thomas has made a name for himself, combining stand-up comedy with exposing wrongdoing in high places. In tonight's show, he forces organisations, including Nestlé, British Nuclear Fuels and government departments, to send him information they keep about him on their computers. Under the Data Protection Act, organisations must reply to such requests within 40 working days, though they sometimes charge an admin fee of £10.
Now, this is a bit confusing because some of the stuff in this pile is stuff that BNFL sent us, and some of it is stuff that we already had and BNFL didn't send us. Now, BNFL said the reason for the non-production of the data could be it was deleted, or it wasn't held in automated form, or it wasn't readily accessible by reference search to my name. Complaints going in.
This could be a potential breach of the Data Protection Act. What we can do, what we have done, is reported these instances to the Data Protection Registrar, who will investigate them. As it's a new sort of like agency, really, the Registrar, we don't know what's going to happen. It's always a little bit of a grey area because it seems that these are sort of like the first test cases that are going to go through, and I think the results are going to be quite interesting.
The Data Protection Act means you can ask for a copy of information held on computer about you, find out why the information's being held, and establish who may be passed that information or see it. Manually kept paper files will be included later this year, though you can't see documents which help the fight against crime or the collection of taxes. The Act also covers email. Even messages which haven't been completely deleted from a computer should be disclosed to you if the text is substantially about you. So Mark Thomas put this to the test. He's a leader of the campaign to stop British involvement in the building of the Ilisu Dam, here in southeast Turkey, and he wanted to know what Department of Trade officials were writing about him. To the comedian's surprise, he was sent 17 emails about himself. "The bloke is an out-and-out nutter," writes one civil servant. "You've said that we should attempt to close him down," types another. But the only one that's really embarrassing was written last May. "Thomas is back on the telly in the autumn," says the email, almost certainly from a DTI press officer. Cabourn, that's Richard Cabourn, the Trade Minister, wants as much background stroke dirt on him in order to rubbish him.
If the Minister is asking for dirt on me to be dug up so he can effectively smear me, then is this what taxpayers' money should be used for? Is it what civil servants' time should be used for? Is he breaking civil service guidelines? How far up does this go?
A DTI spokeswoman said Mr Cabourn had given no order to rubbish or smear Mr Thomas, that an official had been reprimanded and that new guidelines were being drawn up on how civil servants write emails. The Department of Trade has apparently been very open with Mark Thomas because it says it checked the PC of every government official who dealt with him or commented on his activities and then sent him the contents. But in doing so, the department has set down a challenge to the rest of Whitehall, because email began as a very informal and chatty way of communicating. But from now on, civil servants are going to have to be even more careful about what they write.
And according to those civil servants, the Minister, Richard Cabourn, who we asked for an interview, is overseas and too busy to give an interview. More from Mark Thomas on Channel 4 tonight. And in case you're wondering what the authorities or even any private company has on its files about you, log on to our website for details of how you can use the Data Protection Act to find out.